we are back. Welcome back to the pod. NBA playoffs are in tow. A lot of things been going on, and I had to bring Andy back. How we doing, my
Hey,
friend?
everybody. Doing excited. As everybody probably knows by now. We're gonna date this real quick. The Miami did just beat Boston, I think 2 days
Yes,
ago.
yes.
So I'm living
So,
high. Tomorrow's game three, and we're gonna see where we go. Right?
yes, absolutely. I wrote a piece for Orlando Magic Daily, which a article to the link to the article will be down below, and I expressed that the Magic's opportunity to make a playoff run would be hands on how Coach Mosley, handles the playoffs. What I didn't realize is how bad some of these damn coaches are, bro. These, like, which we'll get into some of the elite coaches later, but watching Doc Rivers, I didn't trust Doc Rivers going to the playoffs, but Darvin Ham, I don't understand. You have multiple double digit leads in the first of each three games. Now you're down 0-3. You were up 20 in game two, and you blew it. I don't comprehend the one game that Jokic doesn't have it going. You proceed to leave Rui Hachimura on him. I don't care if it's for one possession or 20 possessions. You don't let Jokic get a rhythm, and that's what you did, and you bought Jamal Murray time before he got cooking. And that is the reason you're down 0-3. You wasted a game where D'Angelo Russell made 7 threes. It's bonkers, and the coaching is absurd. Yes, the players make the plays, but a coach's responsibility is always going to be there, and they get magnified into the playoffs.
No, yeah, no, I completely agree. And it shows on the frustration of the players when they have someone that's just when there's no relationship of feeling like they're being guided. As I think everybody here knows, probably I don't know if you saw also where Anthony Davis made comments literally to the media saying there's some plays after timeouts that will go out there, and I feel like we didn't settle anything. And then I'm gonna come in defense because his whole team supposedly came out berating him, saying, why'd you say that? I think even Coach Ham said, oh, we always know what we're doing. But if you're one of your star players is feeling like he's not being guided, then that speaks volumes to where the miscommunication is of that team. And a team like that will not make it past the first round, especially against the reigning champions,
And
Denver Nuggets.
and this isn't the first time. I don't understand why this is happening over and over again. D'Angelo Russell, and then late in the fourth quarter, in the middle of a huddle, just sitting completely silent on the end of the bench, completely disengaged. And you, this Lakers team is going to go through such change. But watching how Darvin Ham has handled this series really just like opened my eyes to like a question. If we want to move on to like some coaches, like Jamal Mosley,
Yeah, yeah.
watching young coaches in this league, up next, right now is in a battle with JB Bickerstaff in Cleveland of who's able to make enough of changes. Mosley to start game three brought Jonathan Isaac back off the bench to start Wendell Carter just to combat the size, and that's off coaching. And Orlando ended up beating them by 38 points, and that's just pure off of coaching deciding, okay, how are we going to be able to counter this, and how do you respond?
Yeah. And going a little bit back to the point of coaching, and as we're saying, like the playoffs are meant to be. It's meant to be a back and forth. That's why it's 7 game series. It's supposed to be
Yes,
adapt, overcome. You're not supposed to just continue playing the way you play, being stubborn. Because the whole point of the playoffs and the whole point of as like the Orlando Magic, as we've seen, they struggled the first 2 games because they had to get into that mentality of, okay, hey, we went with this plan, it didn't work, but then we made the appropriate changes, and they were fascinating in game three. No, I think that's just something that comes with the playoffs. Coaches need to learn to adapt so that their players can understand what they can do better. But
the job of the players is to get onto that court and execute a game plan that these coaching staffs put together. and the trust that players have in these coaches. This Magic team loves playing for Jamal Mosley, and it shows. So there is no problem with Wendell Carter saying, you know what, Mose, if you want to start J.I., cool. I trust you. Let's see if it works. J.I. willing to come back off the bench? Crazy. And it just shows. So now I want to get to the point of asking you, because I'm watching Minnesota. Finch is doing an outstanding job in this Phoenix Sun series.
Yeah.
Watching him, especially how it's working to once he goes to sit Rudy Gobert, understanding that that's going to hurt the defense on the inside. Mike Conley also sits down with Rudy Gobert, and immediately, Nick Alexander Walker comes into now the elite defense is on the perimeter. So Minnesota is always going to be somewhere elite defensively. Michael Malone, no matter how Denver's working, down 15, down 20, they're inevitable that they're going to come back, and that's the trust you have in Denver and that coaching staff. So now let's talk about Miami.
All right. My
Somehow,
favorite part of this.
Someway, and it's the reason I have you here. No Jimmy Butler, no Terry Rozier, going to Boston in Game 2. So now I'm gonna ask you, because I don't. If Ime Udoka, in my opinion, is the coach of this Boston Celtics team, I don't think you win Game 2.
I will agree with you. I do think Ime Udoka was a far superior, better coach. Sorry, Boston fans. But let's be real here. They have not beaten the Heat in the playoffs yet without Ime. The last time the Heat lost to Boston, I believe it was under Ime Udoka.
Yes, and then you have Missoula, and you go down 0-3 last season. You come out, blow out Miami out the door, and now you allow Miami to make 23 threes. Porzingis looks awful. So now there's a chance, we throw that up. It's just one game. It's the reason it's 7 games. It's not. It's just a one and done.
Yeah.
But now this is on Missoula to show: are you able to make these changes against the best coach in the NBA?
Yeah, and arguably, I think he is the best coach, Erik Spoelstra. It's just because I need anybody to name me a coach that is playing currently that can grab their rookie, I think their sophomore or maybe junior, like Tyler Hero. Bam is the only arguable star, like all-star. Tyler Hero, he's an elite shooter. But the game we won,
Tyler Hero was magnificent. The ability to shoot, control pace,
but that's what we're talking about. It comes from the coaching. The coach tells him, "Hey, we know that you can shoot, but what we need right now is a point guard, someone that can facilitate, that can pass out the ball." I think he only shot like 13 shots. I think he had more assists than shots for probably the first time we've ever seen Tyler Hero do that. And every shot that he would take would be perfect threes. I don't think he took a 2 until maybe 6-7 minutes left of the fourth quarter. And that doesn't just come, obviously it comes from the player understanding, but that comes from, as we were saying, as I said, the guidance of the coach going, I know what you can do, and I'm going to push you a little bit more so that we can make this work. And those are the steps, little pieces of information that helps teams escalate to get to that next level. The Boston Celtics should have swept us. This should have been a sweep. If not, and it's at this point, I, as a firm believer of the Heat, I'm perfectly fine losing to them now because no matter what, you had an all-star 5, and you couldn't pull off a sweep without Jimmy, without Terry. You're playing against the children. We have the kids going against you, and they're playing their asses off right now.
It amazes me how every damn year I thought this was gonna be a year that they were gonna go out silently, but here we are. If Boston better not go down 2-1. I'll be damned if they go down 2-1.
I mean, I was speaking earlier. Like, I will give it the Heat this year, as we've seen, they've just been struggling. So their home court advantage isn't as great. I think they're not. They're a lot more closer to 50 than to like 100 in their wins at home. Yeah. Boston, you go.
Hey, And honestly, at this point, I think it's about coaching because to also credit to Spo, it's the Miami's defensive scheme was in particular the top two things that I noticed were they put Caleb Barton on Porzingis and it said Porzingis do something. He couldn't do it. But also it was usually what teams like to do against Boston is put a defender, the weakest defender on Derek White.
Mm-hmm.
However, the wrench was that they put the worst defender on Jaylen Brown and they dared Boston to get away from their offense and work and try to hunt that mismatch. And again it's gonna be on not yeah it's gonna be on Missoula. Show me that you're a good enough coach to win a championship, and at least with this talent discrepancy that you have over the Miami Heat, win this damn series in convincing fashion. Before, because again, in this next series, whoever it ends up being between Milwaukee and Indiana, I believe the Celtics will get through that series easier than they get through this one. But when you
Oh,
get to Philly or New York,
yeah. Oof. They've been playing,
and
bro.
because I trust Tom Thibodeau as a coach, I love Nick Nurse as a coach, and the talent discrepancy is not going to be as large as it is here. So it's up to Missoula right now to show me that you're enough to be competent with coach. You're not as good as a coach as Erik Spoelstra. That's fine. But the talent gap is so big that it shouldn't matter. Show in game 3 that you're able to make these changes, or the Boston Celtics are in big trouble moving forward.
Yeah, and yeah, I will say, I mean, because it was working. Jaylen Brown had like 27 points in the first half, I think. He also maybe around that. I know he was going ballistic, and I'm gonna side here because every now and then I don't know if you've seen TNT where Shaquille O'Neal, there he's always on the side of like the coaches are just they're just there to be like a mascot.
And they're not.
They're really not, because the coaches can really change the mentality of a player, because they're the ones that fill them with motivation. They have the advice. They can see from the outside perspective. That's why sometimes it's good to just to listen to the coaches. And it's just crazy to me though that, as you said, even if he's being outcoached, he has the asset. He has
To be,
stars.
yes, to at least be good enough as a coach to win this series controllably.
Yeah, and I know you're saying a lot about Porzingis, but also like Drew Holiday, he also was having a atrocious game. It's sad to say that even with this All Star five, it's still kind of just a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown show, and it shouldn't be that. It should be like, hey, they're leaving Jalen open. Let's have him drive in. Let's shoot some threes. And but they try to ride a dead horse. It's as they It's kind of the big reason why they lost last year. They love to play their hero ball.
They got
Of
baited. They took Spo's bait, and that's again. I wanted to show love to these great coaches, especially Spoelstra, that
yeah,
you have to be able to figure this out. You do not want to go back to Boston tied 2-2
yeah,
and let this be
and
and get this series going longer than it has to be.
yeah, and I guess even to like show that we're trying to not be biased here, it's the facts. When the Heat have been either to the finals, the Eastern Conference, and the like, what, 3 times in the last 5 years, 3, 4 times in the last 5 years. Yeah, maybe we haven't won it. That's a whole different beast. But to just make an appearance with what we have,
Yeah, man.
that is something that
Yes.
just hasn't been done. And I kind of want to talk a little bit more of just singing the praises of Eric Spoelstra, because we have to remember that he started off with a 2011 LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. He had to figure out how these pieces worked. 3 pieces that were individually the greatest. And he lost that first year. Everybody was disappointed. Dirk was nasty. He put his work on. But instead of being like, oh, let's keep it the same, the next year he said, okay, Dwayne Wade, can you take a step back? Maybe he didn't even ask that of him, but he's like, he figured out the pieces. Hey, Dwayne, we need Dwayne to take a step back, and LeBron has to go off. And that's how he won back-to-back championships.
The
It's
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's the ability. Coaching is not just X's and O's. It's the ability to manage egos as well. That's why I love Tyronn Lue so much. Westbrook, to have that relationship with Russell Westbrook, to come off the bench for that Clippers team, is a credit to Tyronn Lue as much as it is for Russell Westbrook, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Tyronn Lue at least deserves a little bit of credit to be able to manage those egos.
Sure.
Spo did that with the big three in Miami, and now he took a step further. He's able to manage egos, brilliant in the X's and O's. Has belief within his locker room that it's not over, and that's just assets to a great coach.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny that you mentioned Russell Westbrook kind of dating this video. Saw what he did today with sorry, completely irrelevant. You saw what he did to Luca today.
Amen.
He was bro was mad. He was getting cooked, but
This is on Kawhi later. Whatever. Kawhi's not healthy. He's playing hurt again. So, yeah. This is
that's another video. That's another video.
The
We'll
Clippers.
do a recap. We'll do
Clippers window is closing before my eyes, and whatever. Paul George and James Harden are free agents.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. That Luca Kyrie ball, man, is just smooth as fuck. It's the best. Anyway, but no, yeah, but it goes down to like coaching stuff. If you have the pieces, use them as you need them.
Yeah,
Don't
nothing pisses me off more when you have so many great players on the court and you still run damn isolations. You have players that have high IQ and it still runs ISO ball, and you're not. The Dallas Mavericks are not supposed to be good defensively. You have Luka and Kyrie are both on the court. Credit to Luka. The effort's been there this year, so I have no gripes against him. But damn it, you have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden on the floor. You're still running ISO? Word.
And they're out rebounding.
Go home. Go home in the first round.
They don't have big guys like that. They should. It's these playoffs have been magnificent to show the levels of not only the players but, as we're saying, the coaching, because we're seeing people truly just play chess when people are trying to play checkers. You know, it's great to watch.
Yeah, this is really just put an emphasis. Erik Spoelstra has really just put an emphasis on coaching throughout these playoffs, and I'm just interested to pay even more closer attention to these other series and how they play out. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. I just wanted to put this out right before these game fours happen tomorrow, and let's see how they play out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.